Hi everybody, we are back in our podcast studio at IMEX 2023, Frankfurt, Germany. Here with us is Chris Salem. He is a Business Acceleration Strategist, Keynote Speaker, award-winning author and radio show host dedicated to empowering business leaders and organizations through emotional intelligence. He hosts Sustainable Success on Voice America Influencers channel and Business Influencers on Tal Radio for the Touch A Live Foundation. Welcome, Chris, in our improvised studio at IMEX.
Well, this is great to be here. Thank you for having me here today.
Well, my first question to you is, how do you understand the slogan, think globally, act locally?
Well, I love that slogan. It's really quite fitting, especially in today's world. When you think about think globally, we have to think big. You know, if we're going to, come up with new solutions to overcome problems, we got to think big. But when we act locally, we got to stay true to the foundation. And that foundation to me is how we think and values. And when I think of act locally means people getting together in small groups like a town, a community, and where we can operate and connect on shared values. So when we can come from those shared values, but yet think big, anything is possible.
I mean, you have two podcasts that are very big and very, very interesting content, and congratulations on that.
Oh, thank you.
But I think there's quite a lot of viewers here today live and also then on the recordings that perhaps don't know the basics about what you talk about. Could you define what, in your opinion, is success and what is sustainable success?
Well, that's great. That's a great question because, success is a process. Doesn't mean that everything goes right. That means that there are going to be times where you're going to go through major obstacles and challenges, but it's through those challenges and obstacles that we grow and expand. So think about it. If we're going to grow and expand, does that happen if everything is going well? No, when everything is going well all the time, you become complacent, bored, and eventually you fall off the wagon. So for me, sustainability is about the process. It's not about the outcome itself. It's not about even the goals itself. It's about the systems that implement those goals. And then that process that's going to lead you there, being in the moment and embracing the challenges and setbacks, and then also enjoying those wins along the way.
I think that's a great topic to discuss at the meetings, industry events, and IMEX is one of the leading events. Our industry has been through a lot of turmoil recently, from COVID to wars to all kinds of situations. And one of this was also motivation of new staff and staff retention. What would you suggest to anyone who has these challenges?
I would say again that there are things that are beyond our control and there are things within our control. If we get caught up in the things that are beyond our control, like COVID and how things were shut down, then we get caught up in the fear. And when we get caught up in the fear, we're not able to make swift decisions. And we get caught up getting caught up in things that we can't control, which doesn't really move us forward. But when we can learn to focus on what we can control and adapt to what is, not what we think it should be, big difference, we're able to see the opportunities disguised in those challenges to really grow and expand. So I would say that for the industry, will this happen again? Well, I'm sure it will on some level. We don't know what that is, when it will be, but nonetheless, when we can embrace the process, see things for what it is, not what we think it should be, focusing on what we can control versus what we cannot control, we'll be in a better place. And the things that we can control are our communication to ourselves and others, behavior, attitude, emotions, meaning how we respond versus react to situations and people, and our daily action.
Very good, very interesting. Do you notice any difference in perception of success between generations? Between my generation and, Z generation?
Well, you and I are in the same generation, right?
We are,
Gen
definitely.
X, we're Gen Xers here.
Yes.
So, yeah, I would say that, we have the Gen Zs, the millennials, and one of the things they have is they have the technology. Now, when I was a kid, we didn't have this technology like we do today. So there are a lot of great opportunities. Yet, I still think that communication is the most important aspect of anything that worth striving for to become successful. Even in this industry, we have to be able to communicate in a very effective, specific, clear, and concise way. So it's a matter of not only using the technology, but seeing it as a tool, not as the end all to everything. We still have to have that interaction face to face, like we are here right now, and then people are seeing us that we're having, and I'm not talking through just a device to someone. So it's finding that harmony, and harmony is not balance. It's that give or take where it's kind of fluctuating, that we can use technology as a tool to really engage people and be very clear with our communication, allowing them to draw their own conclusion what that means to them.
But looking around, what we should stop doing in regard to in-person events, vice versa. What element should we not abandon at all cost? So,
well, yeah.
dodge this one, but you know.
Well, one of the things that I would say that, you know, we should stop is just assuming and speculating. What, you know, a lot of times we get caught up in assuming and speculating what we think is right. Just allowing things to be what they are, and just to be able to adapt to what is going on and what people are looking for in the industry, so we can do that. And in terms of one of the things that I say we should never do away with at no cost is being a part of helping attendees, people here, create an experience. It's about the experience. That's what they're going to leave when they remember, is how they felt, you know, something that changed in them. They had that aha moment. The experience always counts. So whatever part you can play individually within your control, helping to create that experience.
So coming to IMEX, seeing IMEX, experiencing IMEX, what for you were perhaps so far those experiential highlights in your opinion so far?
Well, one of the things is just the people. And I mean the places, there's so many beautiful places to visit, to hold events, to have, you know, bring your team for team activities, whatever that may mean to you. But when it comes down to it, it's always the people. It's the people that make the difference. And it's the people from different cultures from around the world. And again, doesn't matter what our differences are, how we can connect on shared values to do what's best for the industry. Not what we think it should be individually, but what is best overall for this industry.
It's a very difficult mind shift at times to think, you know, through the global prism. As we are talking about the global market, we're talking about, you know, the world being presented at IMEX, and right now Frankfurt is probably the belly button of the world in our industry. If you think about it, there's one conversation we've been having recently quite a lot, and that is that events since COVID have become overwhelming. Just the number of events, the content at the events, satellites happening. How would you say that one can approach and filter this overwhelming amount of information we're getting in?
Yeah, I think we have to, I mean, again, this is just an opinion. You get to decide what this means to you. But it comes down to making things simple. Simple to really embrace and really engage with. If we make it too complex or too difficult, people's attention spans are very little. I mean, I think we live in a more self-induced ADD world than we ever have been, because there's so much information, so much technology that's, you know, that we're interacting with on a daily basis. Make it simple, specific, clear, and concise. Make it fun. Make it engaging. And those are the things I think are going to keep people's attention, keep them involved in being part of the process.
Now I realize that we are really a generation. I believe in what you said. I can sign under this. But look, in times of the crisis, we tend to draw parallels with the past, you know. So what do we have learned so far to make our industry better from COVID, for example, or for any crisis which is happening in the world, you know, to be more responsible towards the attendees, or we have a memory of a golden fish?
Yeah, yeah.
What can you say about it?
Well, I was going to say, again, you can't dwell in the past. The past is gone. However, we can use the past as a springboard to see what works, what didn't work, and look at everything as a process. We're always evolving. Again, getting back to what I shared earlier, there are things that we can control. There are things that we cannot control. When COVID hit, it dramatically, uprooted this industry for a few years. We have no control over that, but we're able to adapt and still kind of go with the flow and still provide value to the best of our ability. So I'm saying, don't dwell in the past. Use it as a way to learn and to grow, and keep in the moment, to keep looking for ways to keep adding value.
Very good. So what is your reply to someone who claims that there is the climate change we are experiencing is not a consequence of human activities?
So human activities.
Yeah.
So say that question again. I'm going to make sure I heard
What is
that.
your reply to someone who
Oh,
claims
the
that
climate.
change we are experiencing is not a consequence of human activity?
So what I would say with that, it's like the yin or the yang, right? There's going to be positive and negative. It's a two-way street. So I look at it as two ways. It's going to be things that are going to be beyond our control in this case. How the world functions and what it does, it's beyond our control. But there are things within our control, and those are certain things that, if those are things that we can help then to impact the climate in a positive way, then we should be doing that. It's a two-way street. Again, it's not about who's right, who's wrong, whose theory is right or wrong. It's about, again, what are we doing best to make the world a better place? It's a two-way street.
Because we're talking about, once we talk, you open this box and you say success, and for me it really resonates because I think it's a very interesting topic. And do you see there's, Gorazd already mentioned there's a generational difference and the perceptions and behavior differences, but what about values? What do you think that the value should be to get to the right goal, to get to that, end success at the end of the day?
Well, hey, we all have different values. We're not going to have the same values verbatim, but we can always connect on a shared value or values. So I'll give you one value that I feel overall could really resonate with most, if not all, people. Doesn't mean everybody has it, but nonetheless that we can still connect on it, and that's integrity, meaning that we're doing the right thing when no one's looking. I'm a firm believer when you give without expectation, not from pleasing and enabling others, but from empathy and kindness, you receive without resistance. It comes back. So when I'm acting from integrity, if it means that there's something that I could still help somebody, but knowing that there's somebody better suited for them, I will then make an introduction to have that other source help that person, because I know it will come back to me some other way. So it's connecting on those shared values, integrity being one of them, and we can always find a way, no matter what background, what experience, what country, it doesn't matter. We could always find a shared value that we can all connect on, especially here with this industry, and how we can come together and collaborate and make it a better industry overall, and then also make it a better place for people to do events, visit, and so on.
So in what case would you reject the client when we are talking about integrity?
Yeah,
And
so
the project,
reject,
for
there you
example.
go. Well, if obviously if it plays outside of my wheelhouse or it goes against my values, those would be things that I would reject, because I'm doing that again out of integrity.
Okay, and we are coming to the end of this short talk show, and we have some short questions for you. The first one is plane or train?
Play or train?
Plane or train?
I would say train. I mean, everything is a process. You have to be able to be accountable each and every day to grow. So train yourself, tap into mentors, resources that are going to help you to help move yourself forward. It starts at the individual level, then the team level, then eventually as overall as a community, organization, whatever that may be.
One more easier, let's say so. Gasoline or electricity?
Gasoline or electricity? Well, again, I'm not an expert on either one of them, but I would say, electricity. It's just that electricity is just everywhere. Gas is everywhere too, but electricity is in our homes. Some people have gas, some people don't. So I'm going to go with electricity, because not only for what it can do, literally, but also that if we can be more electric in terms of our attitudes, our emotions, and how we approach, what we're doing in this industry, anything is possible.
The mountains or the sea?
What was that again?
The mountains or the sea?
Oh, mountains or the sea. The sea is endless. I mean, the sea is, there's so many beautiful things about the sea, and it's also a very dangerous place. But if you don't take chances in life and you don't embrace the challenges in the process, you will live with regret. So use the sea as an analogy to know it's a dangerous place, but it's also very serene and beautiful. So don't look for the danger, look for the beauty and embrace the challenge, the obstacles, and the setbacks.
I think this is a beautiful message to wrap this one up. And thank you so much, Christopher, to come on Ljubljana Talks. And we hope to have you back the next opportunity.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. We're great, great hosts. Thank you.
Thank you.